Ahoy, mateys. Paula here with Paula's Pantry Post, and it's time for us to have very serious and real conversation. You see, in this world that we live in, you need a license to drive a car. You have to take a test. Often you have to take classes as well. You have to take a written test, and you have to take a road test. You need a license in order to drive a car. You also need a license to drive a bus, a different license that you have to get. And furthermore, you need even a different license if you want to drive a transport truck, an over-the-road trucker. You need a license. And, while we're on the subject, you also need a license to legally, cut hair, to work in a salon, or to do people's nails. But to operate a vehicle that can move 45 miles an hour or more, such as a car or a bus or a truck, you need a license. You don't need a license to drive a boat. So right now, if you are someone who has never been in a boat or been on the water, lake, river, whatever the case may be, you right now could go down to a boat dealership, any place that sells a boat, and today you could go and buy a boat. No license, no previous experience necessary. Then you can take this boat, which can go 40, 50 miles an hour or more, onto any body of water and drive said boat. Let's stop and think about that for a moment. You don't have to have any experience, any license, any knowledge, really, of how the boat works or boating etiquette, and go and take this moving vehicle onto a body of water. And let's stop for a minute and think about this. Number one, when you stop the motor on a boat, which is equivalent to kind of hitting the brakes, right? So when you kill the motor, the boat doesn't just stop, because if the boat has been moving and it's on water, then when you kill the engine, the boat still keeps moving a bit, because that's what boats do. A little different than a car. Like when you hit the brakes on a car, the car will skid, but a boat will keep moving. Second, when you have this motorized vehicle called a boat, you can drive said boat, again, without a license or any experience, and pull other human beings behind you on a tube or a kneeboard or water skis. So you, who have no experience about boats or how they work, can pull another human being on an object filled with air at 45 miles an hour or greater. Can we just think about that for a moment? I mention this because we have been fortunate to spend a lot more time on the water this summer than we have before. And it is becoming very obvious that there are people out on the water driving said boats and motorized watercraft that have no experience being on the water or even operating their own boat. Sometimes, I don't know, just if nothing else, watch a YouTube video on how your boat works, on how to drive a boat. I'm not even going to get started on boat launch etiquette. If you are someone watching this video right now and you own a boat, you totally understand what I'm talking about. If you've never been on a boat or had to put a boat in the water, let's just say when you're at a boat launch, there's just things that are etiquette. It's kind of like when you hold the door open for someone else, because it's a nice thing to do. Or when somebody hands you something, you say please and thank you, because it's a nice thing to do. Or, like driving on the highway and you merge and you let somebody in, because it's just etiquette. There is boat etiquette when it comes to the boat launch. So it's been a little nerve-wracking because this summer, since there's nowhere else to go, everybody's going on the water, and all sorts of people have bought boats and watercraft and jet skis because that's one place that they can still go. And they're out on the water and they have no idea what they're doing. So now you have a whole bunch of boats. Oh, and here's what's really fun about being on the water, like a river or a lake. There are no lanes, right? There's no lanes that you have to stay in. There's no markings of any kind. So you can go any direction you want, 45 miles an hour or faster. So I'm just saying, it probably would be a great idea to have some sort of licensing that when you go and buy a boat, you have to have a driver's license for a boat to operate a motorized vehicle that can throw people from the boat, that can crash into other people's boats, that you're towing other humans behind your boat. Just something to contemplate. If you've never thought about this before, just putting that out there for you. Have a good day.